ServiceNow is your front-facing, customer-facing service desk where the end users log tickets, basically. And let's consider a scenario where a subset of those tickets needs to be handed over to development to work on. Now, that development team works in a Jira instance, in a Jira software project configuration. And then they need to have that to and fro communication going in order to do that. So that's what we're looking to set up. Before we do any configuration, we'll just get started and show you how the base product would look like. So opening the connection, you get greeted with those scripts that we be talking about, more of that in a minute, but I want to add some automation using a trigger so that I don't have to manually sync issues. So the automation that I'm going to add is on a field called uSyncThis. I'll show you this in a second. But basically what I've just told Exalate is to pick up any tickets which have this matching filter and send them over to the Jira side automatically. Right, so let's get started with by mimicking a scenario where your service desk has a ticket created by an end user, and one of your support agents decides that, yeah, no, this needs further work and it needs to be sent to the developer, to the other side. So let's just put some gibberish there. So this was the field that I was talking about, sync this. This is just a checkbox, you sync this. And marking it, selecting it means that I've activated the Exalate trigger, right? I've asked Exalate to automatically pick this up and send it across to the other side. Right, so switching over to Jira now. On the Jira side, remember that the target project that I used was the CM project. So we'll get into the issues. And sure enough, we see that the ticket has been created. Webinar ticket 1 has been created. You have this nice little Exalate panel on the Jira UI, which gives you a backlink to the incident from where things started. Right, so what does Exalate do from here? So the twin ticket that George was referring to earlier has been created. And now it's Exalate's job to keep these two in sync, right? Remember, I've done no configuration so far. So I just kind of want to show you what works out of the box, and then we'll enhance that using the Groovy scripts, right? So let's say we add a comment to our ticket, and let's say we add a proper description. Right, so now I've made 2 changes to my Jira ticket. Now, hopefully Exalate picks these up and takes them across to my incident already. So yeah, as I get to my incident, I can see that the comment has already arrived and the description has already arrived. And this sort of handshake is bidirectional. Now, what that means is that if I add an internal note in ServiceNow, because if somebody's used ServiceNow, they would be aware there's 2 different levels of commenting. There's a public comment and an internal comment. So if I add a public and an internal comment, by default, what happens is that both of these get picked up and sent over to the Jira side. Probably not ideal. You would probably want to customize that. So let's start with doing just that, right? So we have your outgoing sync and incoming sync. I'll explain this in detail in a minute, but this would be the line which is responsible for picking up the comments from ServiceNow and transporting them over to the Jira side. Now, essentially, this is a list. This is the list data structure that I was talking about. So you can use the find all method that we were referring to earlier, and we will say that do not sync over the internal ones, right? So the exclamation is the not, and any internal stuff will not be synced over now to the other side, right? So let's publish this now and let's do a quick test. So this time again, let's say new internal. Let's keep this internal. So this one I don't expect to sync over, and new public I expect to sync over. Let's see how this goes. The new public comment is synced over as expected.